I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
According to TMZ Sports, Dallas Mavericks forward PJ Washington has been officially ordered to pay Britney Renner $5,500 a month in child support. The consent order issued back in November 2024 also required Washington to make a one-time $130,000 payment to clear any back support and cover Renner's attorney's fees. Court filings show he's current on all obligations, and Renner recently moved the order to Los Angeles so she can continue collecting the payments while based in California.
That's a typical move. You go to California, it's a very liberal state, pro-mothers, but this is a huge win for PJ Washington, for the City Boys. Congratulations, my guy. First things first, you got a son out of it. And your baby mama does look good. Yeah, she's all types of rats and all types of whatever, but she looked good. A lot of these dudes get kids by women that are not cute, but all of her dreams and aspiration, all the advice that she was giving to other girls that if you want to come up in life, get pregnant by a ball player, well, all that was just a bunch of bullshit. $5,500 a month comes out to about $31 an hour if you're working 5 days a week, 40-hour shifts. So it's a full-time job. You now have not only have a responsibility to yourself, but you have a son. And if you want to even get that $5,500 a month, you're going to have to be his primary caregiver. Now, if your son is split up 50-50 with PJ Washington, now you're going to lose that child support money. So it's in her best interest to keep the kid, but it's not even worth it. She thought she was going to get, these women think that, oh, wow, I get pregnant by a rich dude. I get pregnant by a guy with some money. I can retire. Do you know how fucking insane that is? And then there are some liberal judges that have literally made that possible. But things are starting to change. For one thing, men don't want to have children with women in the United States anymore. So if you're a man of means with money, you're going out of the country and getting married, and you're just not bringing your wife here. You're having a whole family in another country where you're protected. So what does that mean for the United States? Well, that means our birth rates drop. That means our marriage rates drop because the system over here is very anti-men. And like I keep telling people, until these family court laws change, until these divorce laws change, until these child support laws change, men are just going to opt out of doing it. And society, the country as a whole, will suffer for it. Now, there are judges that are seeing the light. The same thing just happened with Anthony Edwards. The girl lied. She actually did accept that $1 million payout, but she's an idiot. Most of that, half that money's probably already gone in the first 2 months. So now she wants to go back to court and says, well, on his documents, he committed fraud. Lady, how would you know? You're a 40-something-year-old woman trying to extort a 24-year-old man. 24. So let's be honest. This is extortion. PJ Washington didn't need to be put on child support. He could have just helped take care of his son, which I'm sure he's doing above and beyond. But this woman wants money. She doesn't even love her kid properly. She doesn't even care about the kid. You see tons of videos of her. She's not with her kid. The kid is a tool to extract money. If the man's not worth much, a lot of these kids just go to the wayside. These kids are used as weapons. And if they can't get anything out of the man, they really don't even want the kid anymore. That's how detached and how emotionless and how evil some of these women are. We call it conniving. They can just cut you right out. And it happens. So her plans to extort this man so that she could retire herself, that's crazy. Like, we're not even retired. We still have to work. But you think because you're with us, you get to just basically live life on easy mode. I remember I was dating this retired stripper literally a year ago this month. Beautiful girl. She's always at my house in Houston. And she's mentioned something to me that I really only heard on TV. She mentioned the term soft life. And I'm like, what the fuck is soft life? Apparently, soft life is when you're a pretty woman and you live life on easy mode until you die. So basically, your whole existence revolves around you just being really pretty and having sex. And then, and I guess they expect different men to just come into their lives, give them money, and support them indefinitely. These women are mentally ill. You will get old. She was already about 30. She was getting there. But in her mind, she can still compete with 21 and 22-year-old women that work at the strip club too. I said, you're the auntie at the strip club. This soft life you're talking about, it's not coming. You're going to have to put in work. If you are going to ever live a soft life, it's from the ages of 21 to 24. After that, you're going to need to figure out how you're going to take care of yourself unless you're going to be submissive and subservient to a man, aka a wife. If you're not trying to do that, then you're on your own. And there's nothing wrong with that. This girl had a man that was a successful NBA player. She couldn't shut the fuck up and play her position, be a baby mama, be a wife, be a mom, and just play your role. No, she wants to get on TV. She wants to try to fuck Charleston White on videos. She wants to tell women that men are dumb that are pro athletes and that if you want to come up, giving out horrible, horrible advice. But don't get me wrong, she still looks good. And men aren't necessarily very smart, but we are shallow. So her looks, you will suspend your brain activity temporarily just so you can smash. And then you'll have post-nut clarity, realize who she is, pray that you didn't accidentally get her pregnant. Because obviously you're gonna hit Britney Renner raw. You're not strapping up. Let's go ahead and be honest here. We're not doing that. That's Britney Renner. You're gonna slide her that meat. But hopefully she's not pregnant. If you beat the odds of that, you can still say you hit. She's not pregnant, and you can get away unscathed. She got PJ when he was vulnerable, extremely young, and naive to women and to the world. Now he's remarried, but she's single. She's bitter. She's trying to pick fights with him. And he can afford to have a guardian go pick up his son. There doesn't need to be any more in-person exchanges. She doesn't need to see him anymore. He doesn't need to see her anymore. He's actually married. He's married to somebody else. So he's doing pretty good. But it's just beautiful to see that all of her ambitions of being able to scam men with money so that she can get a retirement package, poof, gone, over. $5,500 a month. I'm pretty much, that's $31 an hour. It depends on where you live. That's pretty much, a manager at, Safeway or, some low level position, maybe a manager at a restaurant. I don't know. My cousin does forklift work. He makes more than $30 an hour. So, and then with inflation, it's not like that's going to keep going up. That's going to be your set rate. And the courts know how much he makes. He has other obligations. He's married. You were apparently married to Kevin Gates. So I don't see them going after this man to gouge him later. He is in the NBA, so he will be making considerably less on average in about 3 years. These people do not stay in these pro sports leagues. On average, it's 3 years for. I think it's 2 years for the NFL, 3 years in the NBA. So those big contracts, eventually they're over. And then you try to figure out how to reinvent yourself and be a sportscaster, or maybe you get a coaching job. I mean, or you do the Gilbert Arenas thing and just wild out, casinos, poker, and do whatever you can. Build a studio in your house, maybe. We don't know how versatile PJ Washington is, but when he's making less money in the future and he's just living off his retirement, the courts are still not going to give her more money. She might get less if she brings back up the issue. So she's probably going to just have to just take this as an L and move on. But this is a victory for the city boys. And this whole movement of women extorting men, maybe one day Passport Bros might consider coming back and marrying an American woman. You keep up the good news like this, well, think about it. But until then, fuck no. This is our worst nightmare. A pretty ass American that hates your guts and just wants to use you for money. They can't even pretend that it's about love. That's how sad this whole generation of women are in the US.
This clears up months of speculation. At one point, fans were convinced Renner was receiving over $200,000 monthly. Even Renner herself once mentioned she was getting just $2,500 a month. Washington and Renner's story started back in 2019 when she attended one of his Kentucky games and he made his interest known.
So she targeted him when he was a teenager. Targeted him as a teenager. We call that a predator. A predator. And, she's not being shamed for it. No one's really making a big deal about it. But it is what it is. I mean, I guess I don't know who's supposed to give these men advice about women, about how not to get finessed and about how not to lose it all. I mean, shit, Shannon Sharp made it for how long before this happened, before he got finessed and robbed? And he didn't even get a son out of it. At least PJ got a son. But be careful. These American women, just to spite you, they'll turn your son into your daughter. Have him reading books about the gay BCs and put him in a liberal school and have him doing band and tell him that he can be a girl if he wants to, just to get back at you. So don't, you might want to keep your little boy as close to you as possible because these bitter women are evil. So don't forget that.
By 2020, they went public, and in 2021, the couple welcomed their baby boy. But the romance did not last. Their breakup was messy, and tensions have spilled over into the public eye. Most recently, the two were caught on camera earlier this month in a heated argument during a child handoff at Renner's home.
Yeah, and I'll play that video for you too. Why not? This is the thing. She tried to make him out to be a deadbeat. You can't be a deadbeat if you're paying child support. That's not how it works. So now, as long as that child support comes in and he's paying her every month, then there's no way you can call him a deadbeat. There is no proof that he's a deadbeat. Just don't get it.
Obviously, a son is more attached to his mother at that age, right? Because the mother loves.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see here. Where's the video? Let's see.
Everyone just wants to sit around and just for the wife around information to make blame graph. The separation anxiety is a real thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the child doesn't love the other parent. It just means that in this moment, like they're very highly attached to the parent that they're spending the most time.
You know what? That's a bunch of bullshit. The kids are not overly attached to, people know how to play games with kids. They're impressionable. But remember, this is not just a kid. This is a pot. This is a wallet. This is a living and breathing ATM machine. So, of course, these women are going to do what they can to manipulate these children. And they typically succeed in turning them against their fathers. And hopefully the kid breaks out of it as a teenager, but they grow up resenting their dad when their mom plays games. It happens. Especially if your parents weren't married, it's you really have to be careful because these women will damage your child just to spite you. They'll do worse than that to spite you. And they're angry. They didn't get what they want. They lost. They lost you. And now she thought she was going to get about 25 to 30,000 a month. I mean, that's what Erica Mena thought she was going to get from Safari. And then it turns out I think he's paying like around what PJ's paying or a little bit less. And they have 2 kids. So I'm noticing a pattern of these women that are actually failing to get this retirement plan from these men. Matter of fact, what was I just looking at for, let's see here, Anthony Edwards. That's his name. Let's see here. And Edwards. I was just looking at something about him. Yeah. Aisha Howard and her legal team are pushing to overturn the child support order that she literally settled and agreed to. I guess the word is maniacal. You agreed to a certain amount. You got the money. You blew through it. I'm going to do another episode about the girl who extorted Shannon Sharp. She's not even going to be able to retire, even if he gave her the 30 million. Fuck 20. With 30 million, that money's gone. Max 4 years. There's no way in hell in 5 years any of that money will still be in an account that belongs to her. No chance in hell. Giving a poor person a bunch of money all at once is not helping them. If anything, you're not just delaying the inevitable, but you're speeding up the odds of them having a crash course with reality. When the grass is cut, the snakes will show. That's literally like putting blood in the water around a scuba diver, because everyone's going to be coming for you. This girl right here, she's 40 years old. So you got to think about all the debt. Say you gave her $1 million settlement. Let's see here. First thing she did, because she's not that smart, she went and bought a condo, probably in a high rise. She bought a Mercedes truck, maybe a G-Wagon. That's $250,000 gone right there. That's 250 right there. The condo's not paid off. She's looking at about $4,000 a month in rent because she wants to show off that she has money. She wants people to think she's successful, that she's a boss. She wants to give off that image. Okay, who's been helping her all these years in her life? Well, she's going to always revert back to her mother, more than likely. Well, her mom lives somewhere. She's going to pay up mom's rent, or she's going to try to pay for mom's house. That's 200 right there. Or she pays up the rent for 2 years where her mom lives, because, mom ain't going to live with her. They're going to think she's poor. And for these people, it's all about what people think. So you're already coming up on about 400 grand right there. Let's say she doesn't buy her mom's house. She just pays the rent for a year or two. You're at 400. That's before whatever other surgery she's going to get, clothing, shoes, furniture for your new place. And don't forget, she doesn't have a job. Her job is looking good and providing sex work. But now you're publicly somebody's baby mother. What's the going rate for MILF? What's the going rate for vagina of a woman that already spit a kid out? That's in her 40s. It's going to be half of what a woman with no children is. That's 20. So her income is going to change. Also, her value is destroyed. Now, how many men will still have sex with her because she looks good? Plenty. How many men are going to hold her hand knowing that she publicly robbed a 24-year-old man, and basically you can look her up online and just see that she's a trash person? No one's in a hurry to take her hand, go in front of his mother, declare his love for her, put a ring on her finger, move her in. None of that's in the cards. That's over. Finito. Se acabó. It's done. So now, here she is, barely even scratching the surface of what she thought she was going to be able to do with $1 million, because money burns. Money burns like fucking newspaper. It goes like that. Especially when you're not making money to replace the money that you're spending. That's another part of the equation women don't get. When you get a bunch of money, You have to be contributing into that money. You know what women tell me all the time when they talk to me about finessing men and tricking them out of a bunch of money and what they're going to do when they get a bunch of money? They talk about investments, but they're never talking about work. See, once you hand money off to somebody and they take it and run or they lose it, the money's gone. I've been through that before. Women think that I don't have to do any work. Me doing business is me giving money to someone else. They go out and do the work and they just pay me. That's not a business strategy. It's not a plan. So now she's like, fuck, we're 2 months into this agreement. That money's gone. I got another 18 years with this kid, and he doesn't got to pay no more monthly payments. So she's scrambling. The same thing is going on with Britney Renner right now. I bet you her mother is pissed.
Go with you.
Because guess what? Britney's going to have to live with her mom. Her mom's going to have to help her take care of her son when she's there. And Britney's going to be spending the rest of her days trying to find another man dumb enough to skeet in her and get her pregnant. And hopefully he's a man that's not a scammer, but he's actually a man that she can tap into his worth and sue him as well. See, that's the American hustle right now for women. Find a man with value, get him to sleep with you, extort, either by accusing him of abuse, getting pregnant, or if you're clever enough, getting him to be dumb enough to marry you. If you can do that, then you will be able to access his wealth. Men are smartened up. So because the marriage rates are decreasing and so are the birth rates because men are not getting these women pregnant, I'm noticing when those rates go down, the rates of accusations of abuse and extortion, those rates go up. Because she couldn't get you to marry her or get her pregnant, so she has to accuse you of something. That's where the trade-off is. That's how they make up for that deficit. So what a lot of men are doing nowadays, they're being smarter. They're just recording everything. See, the Shannon Sharp case, he settled not because what he did was criminal, because he has videos and all the proof that it was consensual. The reason he settled is because he didn't want the X-rated racy details to come out. Because, yeah, you can see him online talking about sports, but if you found out she was, hitting him with a dildo or she was hitting him with a strap or he was sucking on the strap, you don't know what some of these people are doing in their bedrooms. And I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just saying, say those are the kind of details that you're like, even though it was consensual, my audience will look at me different if they found out you're a man, big buff ass man sucking on a sex toy that a woman took. That kind of information, you're like, you know what? I can just make the money back. Because a lot, to be honest with you, that would come off as gay. Rumors of being gay is one thing. Actual verification that you're gay is another. And you're going to be seen as feminine. I don't care how big and strong you are, how many yards you rushed, how many touchdowns. If you're gay, you're seen as feminine. So to keep that silent, he settled. These other women, if they don't have anything dark on you like that, then you can get away with taking them to court and just sue me. But it's a beautiful thing to see that these courts are not just handing over football numbers and just just holding these men over the coals and letting them just be legally extorted by these women. This was a victory. Congratulations to PJ Washington. Keep your son close, my friend. Like and subscribe, share the video. If you have any comments or if you agree or disagree, send me a message. We can talk about it. I'll be back on with another episode in about 6 minutes on the same channel. We'll be going live again. I'll see you shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.